Con Air one of your favorite flicks?
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite Nick Cage movies. There's a lot of great ones though, you gotta admit. The one when he's riding the motorcycle, the one when he's hanging out with Sean Connery. A lot of great ones.
So when, training camp is a serious business. When you come to camp as a favorite movie character, is that to lighten things up a little bit? And certainly it goes viral.
Life is not that serious. I think it's easy to take things a little too seriously. There's a time and a place for everything, but I felt like I gave an ode to one of my all-time favorite actors last year for Halloween, and an ode to possibly my all-time favorite actor day one of training camp. So I feel like I checked all the boxes.
Aaron, how much enjoyment do you get out of a day like today, day one, first day of school kind of vibe?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, yesterday not fun. Today it was fun. The administrative day is not a very enjoyable one. It's one we got to check some boxes, but it's good to be back with the guys. It's good to get out there. No pads on other than those funny things they wear on their helmets. But it was good to get out there and see the guys moving around. Obviously, we have a number of guys. I was looking over with Big Dog before during stretches and looking over at the injury line, and there's 8 or 9 guys we're expecting to play big roles for us. So it's a little rare, I think, going into training camp to have that kind of injury issues, but it opens up some opportunities. We had different guys at different positions up front for us, but I thought a couple guys had really nice days, and I got a kind of a fist bump from Tom Clemens, which is really hard to get. So I feel like I had a decent day too.
Good to have Allen back, and I know it's just day one, but what do you think of that catch you made?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. From Devontae to Allen, it's going to be, a transition, but he's capable of a lot. And the way things have gone with the reps and the guys that we've had here and the targets that we've doled out, he hasn't had a ton of opportunities, but he's since his first day here, he's turned heads, and so it's not surprising him to go out and have a really consistent day today. But he's been working hard. He has a lot to prove, I think, to himself and other people, maybe to the team as well. So I like a hungry Allen Lazard, and it'll be an adjustment for us, but I'm happy with day one.
That was a Hall of Fame catch over 31, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I said, Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. There's going to be a little bit of a grace period as we get to know each other, starting quarterback to number one receiver, but I think today was a good day.
What did you get the fist bump for? Was it a particular play or?
From Tom?
Yeah.
The whole practice. But see, Tom doesn't realize when I was a young player, I wanted nothing more than to make Tom Clemens happy. And it was incredible motivation for me because I would have great games, in my opinion, have 100 quarterback rating, 3 touchdowns, and Tom would give me a minus performance. I said, that motherfucker. But it motivated me because I love that Tom held me accountable in more ways than just a stat sheet. It was all about the fundamentals, the decision making, the footwork, and stuff that really actually has molded me into the quarterback I am today. So on day one, to get a fist bump was pretty sweet. I said, Tom, you haven't seen me play in a while. That was for you. So that felt good.
Aaron, you mentioned during OTAs that you value production over potential.
Yeah.
With training camp starting, how do you set the standard for that wide receiver group to what you're wanting for them out of production-wise this season?
Well, I think Allen sets a standard and Randall sets a standard. For me, it's about the tempo and the adjustments and the subtleties that they got to pay attention to. That's what I need to stay on them about. And then obviously Christian not being out there, whenever he comes back, we'll have to get him up to speed. But the young guys got to pay attention. Coach Vrabel's got to pay attention to everything that's being said and taught and emphasized out there. But there's a lot of talent in that room for sure, and a lot of motivation with some of the comments I think that have been sent that room's way. So I like what we did day one. And, you look around and you realize, at some point, 85 is going to be back, and 69 will be back, and 74 will be back. And there's a lot of guys that's going to add to this mix. So we're going to build. I felt coming into camp, to be honest, we were going to get our butts kicked most days because our defense is talented and deep and athletic. It's one of the best groups on paper that we've had. But I told those chumps 1-0 offense.
From the talks you've had with Dave this offseason, just how are his spirits? How's he kind of been dealing with all the twists and turns his recovery's going through?
Look, I've seen a lot of guys rehab over the years, and Jordy, when he had those 2 years of knee and hip, was really tough. But 69 works as hard as anybody, and it's tough. Obviously, last year to come back and play so great in those 27 snaps or whatever it was, and then to not be able to go the rest of the year was really difficult. But he was dealing, and I think he's getting better now, but he was dealing with a significant injury that was more than just an ACL injury, and I'm not sure, I'm not going to speak out of turn for him, but, every day that I was in there in the offseason, he was in there working, getting body work, doing rehab. So he wants to get back out there, and I know it's really, really tough on him, but he's got some great balance off the field. An incredibly amazing, beautiful wife who's pregnant now. So I think this year is going to be really special for him, both on and off the field, and we look forward to him getting back whenever that might be.
Aaron, how much did you actually throw this offseason? I mean, we know you work out and all that, but has that changed as you've gotten older, more or less?
I threw, probably 5 or 6 balls on 17 at Tahoe for 4 days. No, I mean, I threw a little bit in the gym with some of the guys. I do like my 50 throws a day I like to do. But the off season's about extension, and being able to have range and strength in those extended positions. I feel like it takes a week for me to get my arm in shape. That's kind of been the way it's gone over the years. I probably threw about the same, actually maybe a little bit more this off season than I usually do. But yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot to get back into football shape for my arm.
This thing with Dave, he's on his, I think, 3rd procedure now since the ACL. How concerned are you getting just as far as whether he can come back with how much time and how much work's been done on that?
Well, I mean, as somebody who's had a knee injury since they were 16 years old, I know how difficult rehab can be and different procedures and maybe never feeling like it's 100%, but there's a lot to diet, there's a lot to the rehab process, there's a lot to the maintenance process. I think Dave has learned a lot over the last year about his knee and about how to take care of it the best that he can. I'm not concerned about him not coming back. I'm really not. I'm more concerned about the mental side as a friend, just loving on him and taking care of him, spending time with him, and making sure that first and foremost is him taking care of himself, and when he gets back, he'll be back. We'd obviously love him to be back as soon as possible, but this is a knee on a 315-pound man that would love to play 4, 5, 6 more years. So we'll be excited for whenever he comes back, but right now I'm just worried about the friend and taking care of him the best I can. And worried is probably not the right word. I'm not worried about him like I'm concerned. I just have a deep devotion and love for him as a friend, a teammate, a dance partner, and somebody that I married. So I was officiated the wedding.
Right.
Yes.
Aaron, you've accomplished so much in your career, but when you come out and hit Winfrey on a deep bomb the first day of camp, is that special? I mean, you've played so many games, won so many games, but is it still cool to come out the first day of camp and have that feeling?
I told you, today was about showing Tom Clements that I can still play.
Yeah.
Okay, you might joke about it, but seriously, every single time I hit the practice field, my entire career, I've always tried to work on one thing and have one focus, just to keep it very simple. Today, I wanted to be very heavy at the back of my drop, so I threw the ball on time, and I wanted to show Tom that I can still do it. I really did. I love Tom. I have deep appreciation, admiration, respect for what he meant to me as a young player. And now that I'm an old player and he's back in the game, it's fun to show him what he's been missing.
Yeah, but one of those plays today, you're under pressure, and you find Amari on a little sit on the left-hand side. He makes a nice catch, and I think you acknowledge that. But it made me think about, you've been through Greg, to Jordy, to Devontae, and you've got all these talents, some wide-open jobs. you're going to find your next guy, right?
Maybe next 2 guys, maybe 3. We'll see. Again, Sammy, got to get him back in the mix, and Christian, and these young kids that are coming in and playing well. And I wouldn't be surprised if 88's over there going, hey, I'm a pretty damn good football player. Don't forget about me. Because when he shows up and when he's healthy, he makes a lot of plays. He has the last couple camps and dealt with an injury a couple years ago in camp. And I think he definitely is going to put himself in a position to have an impact. It's just a matter of him staying healthy and making plays. But, when he's in the first huddle and you see me throw a deep ball to him, it's great for him. It's the same message to you guys that it's sending to him, and that's that I trust you. And as you guys know, that's an important step that has to be taken in the process from quarterback to receiver. So I'm really proud of Juwan. He's, always been a professional for us. Had some bad luck with injuries, and hopefully he can stay healthy and have a great camp.
You mentioned earlier the amounts of guys that were in the injury line. At what point does that become a cause for concern, especially with Watkins and Watson and getting the reps you need before September 11th?
We're a defensive team now, so I'm not worried about it at all. Defense seems to be pretty healthy, so those guys might have to carry us for a few weeks.
Aaron, Cody was talking this morning about motivation and how you were able to find little things. So what's the motivation for you now? Is it the Super Bowl? Is it the big thing? Is it something smaller? I guess what's the driving force now?
Love, probably. Just tapping into the love of this game, love of my teammates. That's what gets me up in the morning, coming in here and loving what I do, and having that gratitude for this opportunity. Because at some point the ride's going to be over, so enjoying every step of the way. Obviously, we want to win a Super Bowl, and individual accolades are great, but being present in the moment, I think, is really important, especially for an older player, because each moment is just a little bit more special.
Aaron, how much different was your mindset this offseason as opposed to last offseason? And you had some communications, things that you wanted to clear up with the front office.
How was the what?
How was your offseason, the mindset of your offseason different this year as opposed to last year?
Well, I had a blast. I had a great time. I had a great time the previous offseason, but there were just a little bit more serious conversations. We had a process to go through collectively, and it's nice to be on the other side of those conversations. Yeah, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed, the conflict and the back and forths and trying to find some common ground. And I think it's meant a lot to all of our friendships individually. Me and Russ, me and Brian, me and Mark, to be able to have much better communication. And this year was just about enjoying my time, clearing my mind, and then refocusing, so that when I landed here before the soccer game, that those upwellings of waters of love for this game started to really show up.
Aaron, you say that this is a defensive team now, but it's pretty much since you've been here, you've had a lot of great offensive lines. You've seemingly always had an established number one receiver, and there's been a lot of questions on the defensive side. Now you've got that defense you talked about, and there's a lot of moving parts in the offensive line and the receiver. How different does just the complexion of this team feel in this camp?
Well, Ryan, I say defensive football team tongue-in-cheek. I don't want you to go out and write an article about that and take me out of context, but I like our defense on paper for sure. They're going to have to figure it out as a unit and find that cohesion. But offense still wins games, and we're going to have to be efficient, offensively. But, we look at the lines that we've had over the years. It hasn't been a lot of big-name guys. It's been guys that James Campen and Adam Stenovich and now Luke Butkus are going to, they've put together the right combinations and made it all fit together. We got 2 great running backs. We got a bunch of tight ends who can play. Receiver room, we're going to have some things shake out, but I feel great about Allen and Randall and excited about the rest of the guys who shakes out and finds that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th spot on the roster for us. It's going to be fun to see. But I think the best part about the way the team looks now is that the offense is going to take some lumps, especially when the pads go on, I think, because our defensive line is pretty stout, and I think we need that. You know, we need to go against a top-notch defense every single day and kind of get it handed to us a few times. Today was definitely an offensive day, but we're gonna take our lumps, and I look forward to that because it's gonna build some character, I think, through the adversity that we need to face as an offense after some of the pieces that we don't have right now.
Aaron, did you see the reports of Kyler Murray's homework clause in his contract, and did you have any reaction to that?
I think I just raised my eyebrows up like this, maybe, and then down. That was about it, the reaction. Yeah, happy to see him get paid. One thing I did see was I think his average salary per year was about on par with the salary cap of the Oakland Athletics. So I think he can definitely smile and know that he made the right choice.
Hey, Aaron, speaking of the Oakland Athletics, was that after the 49ers game that you said, how can you not be romantic about football?
It was, yeah.
So you obviously have seen Moneyball. It's one of your favorite movies, yes?
Yes.
There's the scene where Brad Pitt is telling Jonah Hill to go on the road, and he says, I've got to be able to cut, I don't want to have relationships with these guys, I've got to be able to cut them, etc. Is that how it was
Yeah, he
here?
cuts my buddy. My buddy plays the actor that, or he gets traded, plays Pena, gets traded.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So was that how things tended to be here? And a year later from when you had your press conference, it seems like you and Goody are in such a vastly different place. Was there a big change in how players are treated and how that communication is as compared to the way it used to be?
I think yes. I mean, I think that there was a more concerted effort for him and his staff to be visible and to have better relationships with some of the guys. I think it's important, you know, as much as I respect, you know, the ideology of Billy Beane there, where he, you know, didn't want to get too close to a guy he's got to get rid of. I think it's easier to get cut by someone that you appreciate, that you can have face-to-face, eye contact conversations and get released by or traded by than somebody that you have zero relationship with. You know, there's funny stories, not funny actually, about like Kenny Clark coming in on cut day and somebody thinking he was a different guy who was going to get cut, and they told him, grab your playbook and head upstairs. And Kenny's like, what? I was a first-round pick. I'm getting cut? It's my third year, you know? Stuff like that just can't happen in an organization that's run well. Because the relationships are the most important thing in this game, because that's what fuels the chemistry, and the chemistry fuels the cohesion of a team, and that makes a difference in those crunch time moments when the game is on the line. And it starts at the top. And I think there were some great changes that begin to take place, and they're continuing to take place. And I've really enjoyed seeing this place take a step forward.
Speaking on that, were you surprised that the Packers, especially on the defensive side, the organization was able to bring back so many guys that they did, like the way the financial situation was looking at the end of last year?
Well, a lot of people don't fully understand the salary cap. I don't myself sometimes, but there's ways of pushing money around that gives you flexibility. I was pretty confident we were going to get Dre back. Didn't know about Rasul, was hopeful with him. But, you know, we moved some money around. We gave, obviously, Preston got an extension, which lowered his cap number and also rewarded him for playing well and being a consistent leader for us. So they made some moves that I think freed some stuff up. Obviously, my contract, you know, looks amazing on paper, but it actually isn't quite what it seems, and it lowered, you know, my cap number significantly in the first year. So there were some ways of doing some things to obviously make some moves. We still have some room, so it'll be interesting to see what happens as this shakes out, and we have, you know, a bunch of guys dealing with injuries and on the pup right now. So, you know, I think Brian's going to be aggressive. If there's somebody there to grab, you know, I'm guessing we'll at least have a conversation about it.
Aaron, you've had 17 for the last several years, and you had Jordy before that. Is there part of you that kind of relishes this? You come in this with out of clear-cut number one guy. I'm sure you've heard maybe some doubts, maybe by people like me who've kind of questioned that you're going to score 30 anyway.
I haven't heard that from you yet, Bill. So I might have to go back. Tom, send me those articles, would you? Yeah. I need some extra motivation from Seinfeld. No, to honestly answer your question, the answer is no. when you walk in the locker room for so many years and you see 87's locker over there and it's Jordy Nelson, you see Devontae Adams, it gives you a different feel. You just kind of know you got that guy. And we have some opportunity for some guys to kind of step into that role. And obviously 17 as a rookie wasn't what he was when he left. Jordy Nelson as a rookie was returning kicks, and I think he had 1 or 2 touchdowns as a rookie. Now Randall Cobb's first game, he kind of jumped out, ran the wrong route, scored a touchdown, had this 108-yard return. But most guys, kind of worked into what they became. So, like I said in the beginning, when I first talked to you guys about patience with Christian and Dobbs, I think we need to have patience with him. But who I don't think we need any patience with is Allen. I really feel like Allen is ready to make a jump and to be a #1 receiver, and I'm excited about the opportunity to work with him. And it gives me a good feeling now walking in here and seeing Mercedes still here and seeing Rashawn Gary right next to him and seeing Kenny over here, my workout buddy, and seeing Dave on the other side, and seeing 18 still in the locker room. That's what makes this place fun. There's a lot of question marks, and we'll try and answer those in the next 5 weeks.